1,000,000 years ago, the world was wild, dangerous, and unforgiving. Humans were not kings of the earth. We were just fragile creatures, fighting every single day to survive. Imagine a world where lions, mammoths, and saber-toothed cats ruled, and humans were nothing but prey. They had no cities, no farms, no technology. Only stone tools, fire, and raw courage. Every day was a battle. Hunt or be hunted, eat or starve, live or die. And yet, against all odds, they survived. This is the story of how humans hunted, ate, and lived 1,000,000 years ago. 1,000,000 years ago, Earth looked very different from today. The air was colder, the land wilder, and the animals far more dangerous. Massive ice sheets covered parts of the world, while endless forests and open grasslands stretched for miles. And within these wild lands, small groups of humans moved quietly, always alert, always ready to run or fight. Danger was everywhere. A single careless step could mean death. Saber-toothed cats waited in the shadows, giant hyenas prowled the night, and packs of wolves followed every scent. Humans had no claws, no sharp teeth, no thick fur to protect them. They were weak, fragile, and scared. But weakness did not mean defeat. Humans had something no other creature had: a mind sharp enough to think, plan, and fight back. When animals attacked with claws, humans fought back with fire. When beasts relied on strength, humans used strategy and unity. This was the beginning of human survival, a story of fear, courage, and determination standing together, holding torches and stone spears, faces fierce with determination, surrounding a giant predator, firelight glowing on their angry expressions, cinematic detail. Every sunrise was uncertain, but one thing was clear: to live they had to hunt, and hunting was never easy. The hunters moved silently. Every step mattered. Dry leaves could betray their position, and a single wrong sound could cost them their lives. Ahead, a herd of giant deer grazed peacefully, unaware that hungry eyes were watching. The leader raised his hand. Everyone froze. Breathing slowed. He pointed toward the largest deer, strong, healthy, and dangerous. It would provide food for many days, but killing it would require courage beyond fear. The hunters gripped their spears tightly. They knew hunger. They knew the pain of children crying at night with empty stomachs. Tonight they would not fail. Tonight they would fight with rage burning in their hearts. With a sudden roar, they charged. Spears flew through the air, sharp stone tips striking flesh. The deer panicked. The ground thundered as the herd scattered. But one, the chosen one, was surrounded. The hunters closed in, risking everything for survival. The deer screamed and stumbled to the ground. Its massive body shook the earth as it fell. For a moment, there was silence. Then, the hunters roared in victory. Anger, relief, and joy mixing into one. They had done it. Tonight, their children would eat. The leader knelt beside the fallen beast. He placed his hand gently on its fur. They respected the animal. It gave its life so the tribe could live. This was not just a hunt. It was survival, and survival always came with sacrifice. The hunters lit a fire. The smell of roasted meat filled the air. Children laughed, women sang, and men shared stories of the hunt. For the first time in many nights, the tribe felt safe, full, and strong. The feast ended, but survival never rested. When the sun rose again, the hunters sharpened their spears. The women searched for roots and berries, and the children learned by watching. Every day was a test: find food or starve, fight predators or die. Water was just as important as food. Sometimes they had to walk miles across dangerous land to find a stream. Thirst cracked their lips, and the heat of the sun burned their skin. Every drop of water was a gift from nature, and they never wasted it. Danger was always near. A rustle in the grass could mean a lion. A shadow in the sky could mean a giant eagle waiting to strike. Even while drinking water or eating, their hearts never fully rested. Survival meant living in constant fear and constant courage. And yet, through these struggles, humans grew stronger. Every challenge taught them something new. They learned which plants healed wounds, which stones made better tools, and how to work together as one. This was not just survival, it was the beginning of civilization. One day, lightning struck a tree, and the forest burned with a terrifying glow. The humans trembled at first, but soon they saw the power within the flames. This fire gave them warmth, light, and safety from beasts. For the first time, the night was no longer their enemy. At first, they feared the flames, thinking it was the anger of the gods. But with courage, they carried burning branches back to their camp. Slowly, they learned to keep the fire alive, feeding it with wood. The fire became their greatest weapon and their greatest gift. With fire came shelter. They gathered wood, bones, and animal skins to build small huts. These shelters protected them from storms, cold winds, and dangerous predators. For the first time, humans had a place they could truly call home. Fire and shelter changed everything. No longer were they just wanderers in the dark. Now they were survivors with hope, strength, and a future. This was the first step toward the world we live in today. The human hand was already strong, but with tools it became unstoppable. At first, they picked up sharp stones to cut meat and skin. Soon, they shaped stones into blades, axes, and spears. With every strike, humans grew smarter and deadlier. A sharpened stick was no longer just wood, it became a spear. With this, they could hunt larger animals, defend their families, and survive battles. The spear was not only a weapon, it was hope carved into wood and stone. But tools were not just for hunting. They became weapons of war. Tribes fought for food, land, and dominance. The stronger tribe with better tools always won. Still, tools also brought creation. With stone scrapers, they shaped bones into needles and stitched animal skins into clothing. With axes, they built stronger shelters. Each invention was a step toward civilization. Tools gave humans power over nature. They were no longer just victims of the wild. They could hunt, fight, build, and survive like never before. This was the beginning of human dominance on Earth. Family was everything. Every member had a role, children learned from parents, women cared for the young, and men protected the tribe. Love, trust, and loyalty kept them together, even in the face of relentless danger. Humans began to wonder about life beyond survival. Why do the seasons change? Why do animals die? They observed the stars, the sun, and the moon, and slowly belief and rituals were born. Rituals strengthened the tribe. They celebrated successful hunts, mourned the dead, and asked for protection from the spirits of nature. Symbols were drawn on cave walls, bones were painted, and fire was used to honor life and death. Through family and belief, humans discovered unity and purpose. It was more than survival. They were building culture, creating the earliest traditions that connected generations. Even in a harsh world, hope and faith guided them. Every laugh, every story, every ritual was a thread weaving the fabric of humanity. Without family, there would be no tribe. Without belief, there would be no hope. How would you find meaning if your world was wild, harsh, and unforgiving? The world was not kind. Ice ages swept across the land. Rivers dried, forests vanished, and animals that once roamed freely disappeared. Humans faced extinction more than once, and only the clever, brave, and adaptable survived. Survival meant change. They learned to move with the seasons, follow animal migrations, and store food for lean times. Every disaster taught them resilience, and every loss strengthened their resolve. Predators were always a threat. Lions, wolves, and giant bears were relentless, and humans had to outsmart them or perish. They observed, strategized, and adapted their hunting and defense techniques constantly. Through adaptation, humans became masters of their environment. They learned which plants could heal, which caves provided shelter, and how to work together in the face of nature's fury. Every challenge turned into knowledge, every failure into survival. Extinction was never certain, but only those who adapted endured. Humans discovered that intelligence, courage, and unity could overcome even the harshest forces of nature. Could you have adapted fast enough to survive in a world so relentless? Vast, dangerous landscape, sunset sky, expressions of determination and hope, cinematic detail. 1 million years ago, humans were fragile and small, yet brave and resourceful. They faced dangers, hunger, and fear every day, but they survived. Through family, belief, tools, and adaptation, they carved a life in a world that wanted them gone. Every fire they lit, every spear they sharpened, and every ritual they performed was a testament to human resilience. Survival was not just about food or safety. It was about hope, unity, and the will to continue. They were not just survivors, they were pioneers of life itself. And their story is ours too. A reminder that courage, intelligence, and unity can overcome even the harshest world. Now, imagine yourself in their world. Would you have the courage to hunt, the wisdom to adapt, and the heart to survive? Think about it, because survival is more than strength, it's about humanity itself. If you loved this journey into the world of our ancestors, don't forget to subscribe to Ancient Survival History. Join us as we explore the untold stories of humanity, 1 million years ago and beyond.